Good afternoon and welcome back to another ironic introduction to another video. Today I'm going over the update to solo events, kind of giving my first impressions and stuff. As always, there's a link to the forum post in the description below and a timestamp if you want to skip the read aloud, jump ahead to my first impressions. That said, let's dive right in. So Summoners, as mentioned in our dev diary on the champions of the contest, we've been working on some major revisions to solo events. We started by looking at ways to add signature stones to solo events, but then decided, why stop there? There are some big changes coming to solo events, including updates to the rewards and solo crystals. Progression-based events. Currently, solo events are available to summoners in 3 different buckets based on prestige. We're doing away with this and moving to using campaign progression instead. As you move up through each progression level, you'll find your 22-hour solo event milestone and rank rewards keep getting better. 7-hour solo events will also change as you progress, but are lumped into groups of progression levels. The events. There aren't any new events at this time, but there are some things to note. First, while the number of points for doing a certain task will not change as your progression level increases, the points required to achieve each milestone will as well. This should help less experienced summoners achieve these milestones and progress with the player as they move further in their journey. Quest completion now awards more points for completing the uncollected difficulty events and even more for completing the Cavalier difficulty event quests. Hero use has seen a pretty big update. A big part of it is that 5 and 6-star champion usage now gives more points than 4-star champion usage. Additionally, players gain different amounts of points depending on if they are fighting in an arena, duel, or a quest, and get bonus points based on the rarity level of the enemy defeated. Class combat events will now only award points for fighting and also award bonus points for finishing fights with specific final attacks. Make sure to check out the how to score points info for events when they come back around. Changes to solo crystals. Say goodbye to different shards for different crystals. Moving forward, solo events will award solo crystal shards, and you can use them to purchase solo crystals, 1,000 shards, formerly known as lesser solo crystals, greater solo crystals, 2,000 shards, or the new supreme solo crystal available for 10,000 shards. The new Supreme Solo Crystals contain some very valuable rewards such as 5 and 6-star arena boosts, 4 and 5-star signature stone crystals, 4-star awakening gems, as well as lesser champion health and attack boosts, and even a chance at 4,500 tier 5 basic catalyst fragments or 7,200 tier 2 alpha catalyst fragments. These crystals are only available to summoners that have become uncollected and also don't contain any experience boosts. Sorry stockpilers, your existing lesser and greater solo crystal shards will not change to the new solo crystal shards. They'll be mass converted into solo and greater solo crystals. Rewards for solo events. Right now, different events give different rewards. Moving forward, all events will have the same set of milestone and rank rewards. Just makes sense, right? Here's the list. We'll go over that in a moment. Coming soon. You won't be waiting long for these updates. New solo events are going through final passes with our QA team and are targeted to launch on Tuesday, barring any possible last-minute issues found in testing that could cause a delay. Keep in mind that some of the old 7-hour events may spawn before the new ones are activated. Additionally, the new 22-hour quest completion solo event will not spawn until October, as it requires the October monthly quest to accurately award points. And a timestamp here for those of you who want to just jump straight to my first impressions. That said, before I jump into the rewards themselves, just a quick couple of notes. The first is that I really like we're switching to progression-based events. That's awesome. It's just consistent, right? Like, having a PI scaling on these events didn't really make a lot of sense. It's probably just antiquated, so it's really nice to have the campaign progression based instead. I really do enjoy it, but I will say when they did it, they did all 6. I would have liked to see maybe some lumping, at least of the initial ones, like 1 through 3, and then do Conqueror, Uncollected, Cavalier. I just don't think they needed to do 6 different tiers, but hey, small things. I think it would have just been simpler, but I can understand the concept behind it at least. But you know, it might be more future-proofing than it is anything else. Just a small thing. I think it just would have been simple. But I do overall really like that change. And, you know, once you're pushing Uncollected or Cavalier, it'll be nice to have that immediate change anyways. It's another nice thing to have when you push act by act. I think Kabam is really pushing a, like, act by act emphasis, especially with the updating to the rewards from previous acts. Next is the events. When they talked about this in the dev diaries, they mentioned that we were going to get new events. It doesn't look like we're getting them now, but based on the wording, which is any new events at this time, it does sound like there is still the plan to have that in the woodwork. I think the only event I really point out on the 22-hour events is the event quest completion. It's just not really reasonable to expect players to wait around for that event to pop up for them to run the event quest. Some people can. Totally understandable, depending on how much free time you have to put in this game, or how patient you are, emphasis on patience. But for a lot of people, they run the event quest when they have the time, and unless they get lucky and the 22-hour event happens to match up with when they're running the event, they're just not going to be collecting these rewards. So I would like to see that event get replaced out at some point, but even if you're collecting only the other 3, I think it's still a really good reward boost. And again, this is just kind of alludes to the fact that that change might happen in the future, and I really do hope it does. We do see overall some changes to the way they do the pointing, the way how many points we get for 5 and 6 star usages, as well as where we can get our points. It'll just be good to kind of double check on how to score, but I think all of these for the most part are going to be good benefits. The only one that could maybe not be is the class combat event, but it depends on how many award bonus points we get for finishing with a specific final attack. I think that's a neat add, but maybe more effort than it's worth. I think people might just end up doing the class combat regularly without actually, paying attention to it. But hey, I don't know. It depends on how many points that bonus points is. Overall, I'd say these are actually really good changes, and will probably accompany the inflated or increased scaling of points we'll be needing as you progress to higher levels of 22-hour event rewards fairly well. So I just hope that these increased points really make up for that added points we need to score in order to get the rewards. Next are the solo crystal changes. I think that this was a really great change. The lesser solo crystals and the greater solo crystals really did not live long. I think this is a really good future proof because it leaves open the opportunity for one day in the future for them to put out a greater supreme solo crystal that's 30,000 crystals or shards or what have you, and then they don't have to do any kind of updating that they are doing like right now, and it will transfer into a future thing, or maybe puts them into like another summoner sigil thing where they offer a big crystal as well. And I know that's a paywall thing, but it's still a good benefit to have to the game overall from a community standpoint, especially if it works the same way like the quest crystals do, where you turn them in for 100, so it's just a bigger crystal. It just looks nicer, but isn't actually much of a change outside of like raw quantity and items and resources. But that said, the Supreme Solo Crystal itself looks pretty good, and I want to say like having access to Tier 2 Alpha and Tier 5 Basics there, that's actually just like a really nice plus. The 3 boost, the lesser boosts, it's a really good resource there, especially if you're pushing a lot of wars. So I like that, and I love seeing 5 and 6 star arena boosts and 5 star 6 stones. I really think all of those are amazing adds to a new crystal. I do just want to say that the 4-star Awakening Gem and the 4-star 6 stones, I'm not super hyped about. Those will be kind of the bust for me. I just wish they would have kept those relegated to the Greater Solo Crystal. I don't see any reason to extend them beyond that. I don't know, just a personal thing. I also would have liked to see Tier 1 Alpha and Tier 4 Basic numbers here for the Greater Solo Crystals maybe go up a little bit, provide another avenue of way for getting those resources, and it would have drawn a really good distinction between the Greater Solo Crystals and the Supreme Solo Crystals, where like the Greater Solo Crystals would still have innate value with that Tier 4 Basic and Tier 1 Alpha for people who are maybe doing arena rank ups and stuff. So I would have liked to see that, and I know that those are in the Greater Solo Crystal. I just would have liked to see like a markup in the quantity of times that happens RNG wise. I think it would have been a really good change and a really good distinction, and then is really keep the Greater Solo Crystal shards with the 4-star resources. Just a personal opinion. Maybe that'll be a change we get in the future, kind of drawing a distinction between those crystals, but probably not. That said, as far as rewards go, this is where I say like I don't feel like they really needed to do 6 categories here. I feel like these bottom 3, Challenger, Contender, and Proven, could have all been lumped into one, because you can see here on Challenger and Contender you get 2-star 6 stones. It's not until Proven that you get 3 stars. So even if they did like lump Challenger Contender and then lump Proven Conqueror, I think that would have been a good option there, because like Here you're getting a level 1 health potion, level 1 revive, 2-star 6 stones. You're getting tier 3 basic resources, and then 3-star 6 stones on your 5. And yes, it's tier 2 class catalyst versus tier 3s, but I don't think they needed to draw a distinction there. People push contender fairly quickly and usually push proven, conqueror fairly quickly. So I think these bottom 3 could have been simplified into just proven, and then just split the rewards accordingly. But for the most part, I'm going to talk about the rewards only within Uncollected and Cavalier. So in that regard, across the board, it is 25 units on the 4th reward category, as well as a level 3 health potion all the way up to Uncollected. And at Cavalier is when that health potion changes to a level 4 health potion. All 6 get a level 1 revive. And at Uncollected, you start getting access to 5-star 6 stones. You get a 5-star 6 stone crystal. And at Cavalier, you get a 5-star 6 stone crystal and then a 5-star 6 stone generic, which is pretty good, as well as a notably small quantity of rank up resources depending on which category you're in. Notably at Uncollected, it does turn into tier 2 alpha, and then at Cavalier, it turns into tier 2 alpha and tier 5 basic, so that starts adding up real quick. And it's a small quantity, but it's actually a really reasonable amount if you're doing it every day on a monthly basis. It adds up to a quite substantial amount, which is really, really nice. And it's like that across the board, just with different resources. So that's a really good add within itself. And as far as rank up resources, I think that's a really reasonable amount. It shouldn't be anything major. It's supposed to be consistent, and it does add up really nice. So I think that's a really good add. As far as the way they did the signature stones, I think they did it really well. I think getting the 5-star 6 stones at Uncollected is really nice, and having it RNG is totally reasonable because at Uncollected you don't particularly need generics yet. It's nice to have them and everybody wants them, but you don't technically need generics yet. It's not until you're really Cavalier that you're chasing that prestige that you really want those generics so you can pinpoint who you're trying to sig up. So I think that's a good change as well. But that said, I just have a couple cons that I want to just harp on a little bit. I ended up ranting for like 10 minutes, so I had to re-record, but here we are. So first is that all 5 Uncollected and below get a level 3 health potion. And this just doesn't make sense to me. And actually, if you look at Uncollected, in tier 4, they get a level 3 health potion on their rewards. And they don't have any other potions. But for Conqueror, they get a level 2 health potion initially and a level 3 health potion at tier 4. So I would have liked to see 2 level 3 potions in Uncollected. I think that it's a really good distinction. I also feel that Uncollected players need potions more than Conqueror players. I feel like all the way up to and through Conqueror, you can do pretty well without using potions. And yes, potions and revives really help accelerate you, but you don't need them yet. At least not more than you do out of your 4-hour mark. It's really once you push Uncollected, trying to push Cavalier, and once you're Cavalier, that you really, really need those potions, because this is when block damage starts hurting and starts being really painful. Whereas at like Conqueror, a good parry can keep you topped up for pretty much ever. But additionally, like, it just doesn't statistically make sense that Conqueror is getting more health on their rewards than Uncollected. And I understand that they're substituting in a lot of other values for Uncollected that Conqueror isn't getting, yada, yada, yada. I just would have liked to see the consistency in the health potions. And on that mark, I love that we're getting a level 4 potion as Cavalier. It's so awesome, especially since that's something we can't farm. I still wish they would have just buffed the level 3 potion. That's a whole nother rant. But I love that we're getting it. It's still really nice. We can't farm those, so it's a really great resource. Would have loved to see a level 3 potion here as well. I would have loved to see 2 level 3 potions in Uncollected and a level 3 and a level 4 in Cavalier. I think that would have been more consistent. I think it would have been a nice touch. I realized maybe that's more health than they wanted to give us on a 22-hour basis. Those are just my wants. And then second, I would have liked to see the level 1 upgrade, level 1 revive upgrade as well. Level 1s are fairly farmable, and I hope they never nerf the farmability of them as a part of me saying this, But once you're Cavalier, they're fairly farmable in Act 5. So I would like to see level 2 revives here. Even if they move the level 2 revive up to like section 4 here, like it's harder to get as a result, I would have liked to see that. It's a pretty substantial quantity in health difference. Additionally, at Cavalier, 20% health just doesn't cut it as much as it did in Uncollected and Conqueror. Cavalier, because of the potency of block damage and block penetration and just overall attack ratings on static content, you really need more health. So a lot of times you end up popping a revive and healing. So I just feel like a level 2 revive would have done a lot of wonder here. And then finally, I think the last note I wanted to say is the units. I don't like that it's 25 units across the board. And I realize it's consistent, and that's neat, but the unit values or the value of units change as you move up. Just like generally speaking, units become more valuable, later on. Like you need them more often, especially when you're talking about using them to push content or using them to buy energy refills and the like. So I would have liked to see just like a small scaling, like 20, 20, 25, 25, 30, 30. That's it. Nothing major, just small scaling to mark a difference here. But beyond that, I think these were really great changes. The rewards here are actually really solid. Definitely worth, going around a little bit of effort to make sure you complete these 22-hour events at least as conveniently as you can. And I'd say overall, they're pretty well done. The 7-hour event as well is not so bad. Just looking at like Cavalier and Uncollected, you do get the solo shards. You get a 2-star class sig up, which I don't know what that means exactly, to be honest, because like that's not a sig stone. So I don't know if that's a new kind of sig up where it's like maybe it's 7 or 8 or what have you. Maybe it's a level's worth. I'm not sure. We'll find out. I don't know how I feel about getting that as an Uncollected, Cavalier player, but they do have the 2-star, the 3-star, and the 4-star here, which is neat, I guess. But it does seem a little strange to me, I guess, is how I would describe it. And then you get the attack boost. I think the only complaint I have on the Cavalier Uncollected thing here is rather than an attack boost, I would like to see a rotating boost. And I know that they want the rewards to be consistent, but I would have liked to see like a crystal here that has an attack boost, a lesser champion boost, and a lesser health boost, or an attack boost, a health boost, and a champion boost. And you could get one of the 3 when you open it up. Make it a crystal. It'd be fun to open. You could stash them a little bit more. Overall, I just think that would have been really nice. Again, this is more balanced for the game. What I'm asking for is greedy. Small things. It's just the small things. And then finally, the 7-hour rank up rewards. As far as these go, they look okay. They don't look anything amazing. The 1 to 10% and the 11 to 20% look pretty solid, I would say, especially for Cavalier Uncollected. I'm still kind of weirded out that Cavalier and Uncollected are being lumped up here when they're like drastically different in the 22-hour just general rewards. Small things. But the 7-hour event, getting to choose between part of a tier 4 basic, tier 4 class catalyst fragments, or 4-star 6 stones is really nice. It's just an extra resource for tier 4 basic, and I like that. I think it's awesome. I would have liked to see tier 1 alpha be a part of that picture somehow, because tier 1 alpha, like as a necessary resource, is strangely, like the value is strangely inflated. So I would have liked to see more of that, especially since I don't see any of it in any of the other parts of this rewards. And we see, class catalysts, we see, basic alpha catalysts, and we see tier 2 alpha. It's just weird to not see tier 1 alpha specifically. I don't know. Weird. But didn't go over my head. That said, let me know what you think. Let me know if you disagree. Let me know if I missed something. As always, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll talk to y'all later.